My husband's family lied about a gas leak to move into our house for a free beach vacation. Now they're out, and my husband finally woke up. So, I, 33F, have been married to Ethan, 34M, for 5 years. He's always been incredibly family-oriented, which is usually sweet. Keyword. Usually a few weeks ago, Ethan's mom, Carol, early 60s, his sister Maddie, 21, Maddie's boyfriend Kyle, 21, and Carol's husband Ron, 60s, supposedly had a gas leak at their rental home. According to them, it turned their place into a carbon monoxide death trap overnight. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but their house apparently needed major repairs. And guess who found out they'd be living with us after Ethan already invited them over? Yep.
Means he didn't ask.
He didn't discuss it. He just told me 24 hours before they showed up, with suitcases, coolers of food, and enough beach towels to open a surf shop. This wasn't a "can they crash for a few days" situation. It was, "they'll stay until the house is fixed," which I later learned could mean months. That I was livid. For context, Maddie is the miracle baby, born long after Carol thought she was done having kids. She's basically the family's golden retriever in human form, spoiled, adored, and completely incapable of hearing the word no. Carol treats her like a Victorian heir, and Ethan, the middle child, has spent his whole life trying to earn his mom's love. Meanwhile, Carol and Ron are the type of in-laws who think boundaries are a myth invented by millennials. Maddie and Kyle are both full-time students with no jobs. Kyle spends his days in our media room gaming and vaping away the stress, while Maddie uses the guest room as her personal influencer studio, less than 500 followers, but she's got 3 ring lights. Ron just sits in the sunroom reading mystery novels and ignoring the chaos. And Carol? Oh, Carol reorganized my spice rack, commented on my wardrobe, and started calling my dog her baby. I managed to keep it together until week 2, when Carol said, "You should put a little more effort into your appearance." Working from home is no excuse. For the record, I run a consulting firm. I'm not just playing with spreadsheets. That was it. I told Ethan we needed to talk. He tried to shut me down with, "Babe, don't start. They're family. They needed us." I lost it. I told him they were his family, not his responsibility. That he crossed a huge line by inviting 4 adults into our home without my input. That I felt disrespected, bulldozed, and invisible in my own marriage. He called me cold and said I didn't understand what it's like to come from a broken home. I reminded him that he married someone from a healthy home, where people ask before they impose and respect each other's space. Then came the guilt trips, the passive-aggressive TikToks from Maddie about unsupportive people, and Carol sighing around a house like she was starring in a Victorian tragedy. I felt like the villain in my own home. Update. Plot twist. I went full detective after reading some comments online. Y'all are ruthless in the best way. I started wondering if the gas leak story even made sense. Spoiler. It didn't. So I did some digging. Stop 1. The gas company. I called and asked about a leak at Carol's address. No record. No calls. Nothing. Stop 2. Their landlord. I called him and asked if he'd been notified. He was confused, said there'd been no report, no emergency, and that he'd just inspected the place a week before they had to evacuate. Stop 3. Their actual house. I drove by. No do not enter signs.
No cruz. No repair tracks.
Neighbors hadn't seen or heard anything. My blood was boiling. Then I cornered the weakest link. Kyle. While everyone was at the beach again, I casually mentioned what I'd found. I didn't even have to press him. The man folded faster than a cheap lawn chair. He admitted that Carol and Maddie made up the entire gas leak story. They knew if they said it was an emergency, Ethan would panic and take them in immediately. The truth? They just wanted a free place to stay near the beach and couldn't afford a hotel or Airbnb. When I told Ethan, I didn't yell. I just laid out the facts, the calls, the landlord, the neighbor statements, the confession that I saw it click for him. His face went from confusion, shock, heartbreak, raged. He told them all to get out. Immediately, Carol tried to cry. Maddie screamed. Ron shrugged and asked for a ride. Kyle apologized 3 times on his way out the door, and just like that, peace returned. Now it's just me and Ethan again. The silence is bliss. To his credit, Ethan finally saw how manipulative his mom and sister have been. We had a long, honest talk about boundaries, family guilt, and how being the fixer doesn't make you a good person if it comes at your partner's expense. We're starting couples counseling, not because I'm leaving him, but because we both want to rebuild our trust and make sure this never happens again. Comment honestly? You're a legend. The level of calm detective work here deserves an award. I'm so glad your husband finally saw the truth, because that was next-level manipulation. Glad you both are doing counseling and not letting her nonsense ruin your marriage.